Happy Monday, family. Welcome to another amazing week of your life, of our life. This is the DunnWisdom Morning Show. I am your host, Melissa P. Dunn, CEO of MD Marketing Network, founder of this DunnWisdom movement, and candidate for Lauderhill City Commission seat number 2. So on this show, I'm always happy to introduce you to entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and community change agents who perhaps will share their journey with you so that you may see what's possible for yourself in them and redefine success for yourself. In today's conversation, we're going to focus on the journey of an entrepreneur, business coach, mindset coach. She actually calls herself the business doctor. Help me to welcome our guest today, Dr. Square. Good morning.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going well. Where are you chiming in from? Where are you
New
now?
Orleans. I am born and raised New Orleans. I get excited when I get to talk about my city. So,
I
yes, I'm in New
love
Orleans.
it. I
Mhm.
love it. You know, I was in New Orleans once. My stepfather was in the military. So when we came back from Germany, I spent about 2 weeks with my uncle and my aunt in New Orleans when I was
Did you
like,
have fun? I don't know if you even remember.
13. I was like 13. Girl, I don't remember none of that. I was like 13. But listen, though, my aunt, she could cook.
Yeah,
What?
that's what I'm saying. You don't
Good
even remember the
morning.
food?
Listen, she could cook. Good morning, Mom. You remember Uncle Buddy? That was his name, Uncle Buddy, and his wife. She was from Southeast Asia. She
Mm-hmm.
made some good food.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know we do eat a bit much down here. Sometimes I think about I was wondering one day, I was like, I wonder if I would weigh less if I lived somewhere else. Because here, even when you wanna eat differently, everything has seafood, everything has sauces, and it's like you have to stay home. Like
Listen,
there's
that's
no
how it
restaurant
goes, man.
time.
You gotta lean into the culture.
Right. You gotta just accept it, embrace and accept.
So tell us, where are you from originally? You're from originally New Orleans?
I've born and raised here. My family is
Oh,
mostly from
beautiful.
here. I've traveled many different places, but this is home. I think I would always have a location here, even if I lived part of the year somewhere else.
I know exactly what you mean. I always say that Lauderhill is my roots, and I go to different locations. So this is my base, but you know, the world is my oyster. It looks like we lost Dr. Square a little bit. I want to make an announcement and remind you though, if you haven't yet registered to vote, tomorrow is the deadline. So go to the the Department of, go to the Supervisor of Election and register to vote. You still have time to do that. So if you're not registered yet, particularly if you're in the state of Florida, tomorrow is the last day that you can register to vote. This is a very, very important, I say, history making, life changing election. So please do make sure that you vote. You can still request, I believe, for you to get your ballot, so you can make a plan for how you go vote, right? Whether it's going to be by mail, in person, or early. But do make sure that you have a plan for yourself and that you bring your families with you. So Dr. Square is going to be back as soon as I guess she got kicked off of the Wi-Fi. And in the meantime, if you're watching, go ahead and say good morning. Let's hear what's going on with you. How was your weekend? What have you guys been up to? Are you staying dry? We have had a lot of rain here in South Florida lately. Um, so, Natasha, can you give me some heads up as to what's going on? Let's kind of go through her website a little bit here. So it looks like she's an author, a business strategist, and executive coach, and her MBA is her PhD is actually in business from Dillard University. That's pretty dope. She's also studied at Louisiana State University and the University of New Orleans.
So I
Amen.
don't even want to act like that didn't happen. My computer literally gave me a blue screen, and it reminds me of a movie, Sex and the City. I've never seen that. It had a sad face and everything. Like, so,
They're watching you, girl. They're watching you.
girl, I was like, what is happening? I've never seen this. I mean, it was like a big blue screen with a sad face, and I was like, what? And I had to restart it and everything. So I
Oh,
might need to
no
get a new
worries.
one. This is what's
No
happening. My camera
worries.
sucks anyway.
No worries.
Many
No worries.
apologies. That's never
Yeah.
happened. I hope
Well,
we're gonna pray it's gonna get us through this whole interview and not happen again. So
listen.
yeah.
God is taking the wheel right now. I'm declaring it, so
Right.
we're good. Hey, so I'm going through. It gave us a chance to actually go through your background a little bit on your website,
Mhm.
and I see that you're a
Right.
certified life and business coach. I actually just finished
I-
my coaching certification this year too.
Awesome. Do you have a
How has
special
it been for you?
How has it been for me?
Mm-hmm.
I did it honestly, since you said we have to be vulnerable. I got my certifications not necessarily for me. I got them because I thought other people would feel more comfortable knowing that I was certified. Because this type of work is work that I would do anyway. This type of work is something that I did before I got my certification, but I wanted people to be comfortable knowing that I had the background information and best practices. So I got the certification really for the client. And so I didn't notice a huge difference because I already had the degrees and the knowledge. So I don't even
Mm.
really think about it. Sometimes I think about there was this master class that you had to have so many hours in order to enter into as a coach. And when I was first starting out, I wasn't even close, but now I'm pretty sure I'm well over that. I think about that from time to time, but otherwise,
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a little bit different. I actually have I'm certified as an ontological and ecological and mindfulness coach.
okay.
And so for me, going through the whole training process, which was like 9 months of
Hmm.
intensity,
Hmm.
um, it made a big difference for me, not just in how I deal with my clients, but how I show up myself.
Awesome. I love it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. I do think about refresher courses and maybe.
Are you gonna get the ICF credentialing as well?
Honestly, after about 2016, I probably stopped thinking about additional degrees and credentials. I remember in 2016 thinking about even going back to finish an MBA because with my PhD, I have so many courses in business. And I was like maybe 3 or 6 classes from an MBA. And I was like, no, I'm good. And then I was thinking about even going back and getting a therapist degree, like, things that I felt would help my clients. And then I was like, no, I'm good. And so I don't think about it at this point. That doesn't mean that I won't think about it at all. I
So
know
tell me.
right now, I the getting additional knowledge and getting better at my skill as far as making sure I understand who I am, making sure, like you just said, I show up as my full self, and
Hmm.
I'm in alignment with what I feel I should be doing versus chasing behind clients or chasing behind money. Um, right now is a really good place, so I don't think about it right now.
Got it. Got it. And so, what made you decide to become a coach?
I so in the beginning of becoming an entrepreneur, I was thinking about things that I was good at, things that I like to do, and I wanted to. In the beginning, it was more life coach focused. And I wanted to get the idea of how to talk to people and how to really be in a space where I could help guide them. And so it kind of manifested, it happened. And wanting to understand more about, I think I really wanted to understand more about how to show up in a client coach space because prior to then it would be larger trainings, public speaking, and less one-on-one. And I knew I didn't want to be a psychiatrist or a I can't get it out. But I wanted to be able to sit one-on-one with clients and be my best self. So I wanted to get best practices and know what was too much, what was going too far, what was not enough, and things like that. So it helped with that, like, making sure you were client-centered in these one-on-one spaces.
Ah, fantastic. So tell us about your background.
So my background, I have, as far as education, life.
No, you as a person. Who
Oh,
are you?
because sometimes you gotta ask. You're so used to giving people, oh, I have this and I have that, and
No,
and
you as
so
a person.
as a person, as I stated, I was born in New Orleans. I've lived here primarily for many years. There was a point for about 7 years I lived in Baton Rouge, and Baton Rouge was home for about 7 years, which is still in Louisiana. And I was raised by a single parent, single mother, and that came with many things, you know, and then you would have to ask questions after that.
So what was the experience for you like growing up in a single parent home? What did you learn about
Well,
yourself?
growing up in a single parent home and growing up in a single parent home in New Orleans was, well, my experience was difficult. So I don't know about other people's situation. So my father was taken in by the drug epidemic that was happening around the country. And so he couldn't show up as his highest self. And I think my mom really, as I could understand now being a single parent, I think my mom really had a hard time with that. And so it was different. It was very different from me based on where I am now and how I show up as a parent. It wasn't necessarily things. Like, she always made sure we had, basic necessities and even a lot of extracurriculars. And I look back at that now. She was really good about making sure I never went without, materially. But as far as showing up as a more supportive counterpart or partner in our mother-daughter relationship, that is what I think hit the hardest when I was growing up.
And how has that impacted how you parent?
So I'm a completely different person than I was as a child or teenager, adolescent, young adult. Because I feel called to do work that is more enlightening, more healing, and work that is supposed to guide me and others. So in that work, I can't really be a low level thinker, low level type parent. So I parent very differently than what I saw. What I do understand, and I'm mindful about, is the stresses of being a single parent and how that can weigh on both the parent and the child. And I don't think people think about that as parents. Like, the child may get the stress that you encounter as a single parent. And I think for me, I am more mindful of it. I'm not saying that there are not times when I'm like, but I'm mindful of how I was impacted, and I'm mindful of what I felt I wish I would have had growing up. And it was more of a present parent, even in the moment. Like, so we're doing something or going somewhere, like really being present with my daughter and what she may need, what she's going through, when she's hiding. And so I think I know for me, I wanted to be a more present and enlightened parent.
I love that. I love that. And how do you balance being a mom and an entrepreneur?
So a conversation that I had with my daughter many, many moons ago when I first started out as an entrepreneur was that in order for me to be my best self as a parent, I needed to be my best self as Sheika. And I know for many people in society, what happens is we believe, especially as women, that our role as mother is the most important thing in the world. And for me, I'm not saying if that's what you believe that that's wrong. For me, it's not. It is not the most important job that I will have, because at some point that job will cease to exist. She will become an adult. She's not going to want to be told what to do. Um, she's not going to want me to, I'm not going to have to give her a bath anymore. So the conversation I had with her many years ago was, in order for me to show up as my highest self as her mother, I needed to show up in the world as what I felt my purpose was. I needed to go after my dreams. And at first it was a little tug of war because she wanted me all to herself. But over time, what ended up happening was she started to understand that I was a better person and a better me as a result of living out a life that was fulfilling for me, and then also being her mother, versus I'm your mother first and then everything else is you're at the center and everything else is around that. It's more of I'm a person and I am a mother, and I show up as an entrepreneur, and I show up as a business coach, and I show up as a person who likes to gather a lot of money, and I like to invest. So there's different parts of me, and in those parts I am also her mother. And I think it's a flow that we are still going through, but I think she understands the importance of it for me, where it doesn't bother her as much that I spend time working.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I do believe, and I say it all the time here at the DunnWisdom Morning Show, that you have to give from your overflow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fill your own cup first. So I know that you have your zone of genius. Would you mind sharing a few tips with our viewers?
Can you elaborate on what you mean by zone of genius?
Yeah. So you
Mhm.
are a business and mindset coach. So what
Mhm.
are the two things that you tell your clients that help them the most?
Well, one thing that I like to impart on people that I work with is that it's super important for you to understand that your life is made up of parts, and those parts make up a whole. And many times, as entrepreneurs, what I see is that people will only focus on getting better in business. And many times, especially entrepreneur, and mostly my clientele, entrepreneur women, they will pour a lot of effort, energy, and money into becoming their highest selves as business women, but they won't put a lot of the same time, effort, and resources into being happy and whole. And so something that I really proponent is being your highest self in life. So if you are happy and whole, your business flourishes. If you learn how to incorporate who you are into your business, then your life flourishes. So you're made up of parts that are a whole. You're not segmented. And that would be something that I think is different for me as a coach, is that I don't focus just on your business. If you're the type of person that doesn't want to talk about life and how your life is impacting your numbers in business, then we usually aren't a good fit.
Yeah, for sure. Entrepreneurs, we do bring our whole selves to everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on that one, Dr. Square. And so, what do you find is the most challenging thing for female entrepreneurs that you work with?
Once again, I think the most challenging thing would be the understanding that they can show up as women. They can show up as vulnerable. They can show up as feminine inside of their business, and it actually helps. I know, and especially when I first started out, and I would do a lot of trainings and organizational coaching, which I still do. But in the beginning, I would show up and I would be in a room with mostly men. And in those rooms, you feel the urge. I'm not saying you have to be, but you feel the urge to be very aggressive, less ladylike, less vulnerable, because you feel that that's what's expected in these rooms. And what I find is going to be most helpful is showing up as who you truly are in these rooms, because that's why you were created.
Oh, I love that. Be authentically who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a powerful advice for everybody, regardless of what role you play in life. Just be your
Mm-hmm.
whole self and show up in your greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, any final words of wisdom that you want to share with us?
No, I think we covered everything. I would just suggest that people starting out as entrepreneurs really think about something that makes you happy. Like people, I think something that makes you happy and something that answers a question. I think if you can tie those two things together, what'll end up happening is you will undoubtedly make tons of money and position your business. If you can figure out how to combine those two, and move into that and work that and grow that, I think that's really the niche, not even the niche, the sweet spot of a business. A sweet spot of a successful business is that I like this and it answers a question. And people need this. So I think that was it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr.
Thank
Square.
you for
And
having me. I'm sorry my computer crashed in the
no
middle of
worries,
this.
no
I was like,
worries.
I don't even know what this is. But thank you for having me. I'm so appreciative for coming on. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. And thank you.
Enjoy New Orleans.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later. I don't even know how to log off. So you got to keep
All right. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for this kickoff to what I know will be an amazing and prosperous week. I just want to remind you again of your greatness. I want to remind you that everything is possible for you and everything is possible for me. As you go through your day today, I want you to look for things that you love, look for things that make you feel good, look for things that you can be grateful for, and maintain a spirit of gratitude as you go through your day. If you are open and gracious in your heart, and of course, as Dr. Square said, if you show up authentically and wholly who you are, then beautiful things can happen. And when they don't, just know that everything always works out for our highest good. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name again is Melissa Dunn. I want to remind you, if you haven't already registered to vote, please do. This is very, very important for our future as well as for our present day. So register to vote and make a plan to take yourself and a family member or 5 to the poll. Be kind and loving to yourself today. You deserve